introduce our District Governor, Will Miller. This is a historic occasion for the E-Club in that it's the first time we've had a District Governor online for his annual address. Will Miller is a retired U.S. Navy commander, decorated Vietnam War combat veteran, educator, consultant, advisor, public servant, and futurist. Originally from Hampton, Virginia, Will is the oldest of three boys. His grandfather, Elton, was the director for aeronautics at NASA's predecessor, NACA, and worked with the Wright brothers and Amelia Earhart. Will is a BA from Virginia Tech and a master's degree from the College of William and Mary. Will served 2 tours in the Vietnam War, one at sea on a Navy destroyer, shooting at targets ashore, and another in-country, being shot at. He survived a massive rocket attack on his base in Cam Ranh Bay, as well as rocket-propelled grenade across the hood of his Jeep as he was driving to the communication center to get ships out of the harbor. Over the next 30 plus years, Will's varied career included briefer for admirals, generals, and White House staff, teacher in public school systems, college lecturer, senior civil service at the rank of GS-13 program analyst, top 10-5 in nationwide sales and engineering with Honeywell, senior analyst, future space systems with defense contractor SAIC, deputy director, counter-drug operations, military joint operations, consultant, alternative and advanced energy systems, advisor in space, weather, space warfare, natural and technology, disaster and recovery, World War III planning and survival, American Red Cross Mid-Atlantic board member and chair disaster response teams, City of Bel Air Bluffs adjustment and planning boards, director, board of directors member, Recover Pinellas disaster recovery. He has held military top secret clearance in special programs. Will joined Rotary in 2003 and his service included club president, Bel Air Bluffs Rotary Club, club member, Largo Rotary Club, district committee chair and senior advisor, disaster preparation and response, district assistant governor for 6 St. Petersburg Rotary clubs, multi-district board member and chairman of Rotary's Camp Florida's Resources Development Committee. Will and his wife of 46 years, Gray, live in Bel Air Bluffs, Florida, and have a son who works for Boeing Aircraft Corporation with the V-22 Osprey program, a daughter who is a special education department head with Hillsborough School, and 4 grandchildren. One of the grandsons is a Marine. Please join me in welcoming our District Governor, Will. Welcome, Will.
Thank you very much, Robin. I really appreciate the introduction, and some of you may ask the question, gosh, with that many jobs, the poor guy can't hold down a job. But I have had the opportunity to do a lot of things in life, and when I was asked to consider being district governor, I felt that some of those past life experiences could be helpful in bringing some expertise and ideas to District 6950. So fellow Rotarians, it's a real honor to be with you via this virtual media teleconference. And I want to thank Robin and particularly Peter Vaca, your new Rotarian, for setting this up. This is really great. This is the wave of the future, and I've already talked to Peter about using this for some of our other work in the district. Well, you, the E-Club, are my very last of 47 Rotary clubs and 47 board of directors meetings for a grand total of 94 Rotary meetings. So I banked a few makeups. I wanted to talk with you, among other things, about the district's goals for the 47 clubs in the 4 counties, Pinellas, Pasco, Hernando, and Citrus, as well as the E-Club. But before I get into that, I wanted to share with you some very good news. First of all, we are starting a district-wide membership drive in January. I was a little skeptical about district-wide drives, but Eric Johnson, our district membership chair, convinced me that he had a cunning plan. So I think it's a great plan. I'm encouraging all clubs to give this drive an opportunity. And for the first time, we're providing tools in the toolbox for all Rotary clubs to have what they need to first define what is the Rotarian they're looking for, where and how to prospect for that person, how to vet them, how to integrate them into the club, how to train them, mentor them, and then how to retain them. That entire continuum of Rotary experiences is all going to be delineated in the membership package that has been distributed to clubs now. So let me encourage you to take a hard look at that and to use those tools in the toolbox. And you're going to use that term many times throughout the year. A second, I wanted to encourage all Rotarians to make use of a brand new program that's available only to Rotarians, and it's worldwide. It's designed to keep money in Rotarians' pockets, and it's called Rotary Global Rewards. It's an easy program. It has nothing to do with credit cards or points. It just saves Rotarians money on goods and services worldwide. All you have to do is to log into Rotary.org, go to Global Rewards, very easy online sign-in process, and voila, you're in the system. During my travels up in Citrus County, I checked into a Holiday Inn, and I wanted the best rate for the district. So I said, what's your best rate? AAA, that's fine. They were logging me into the computer, and they said, are you here on business or pleasure? I said, well, I'm here on Rotary International Business. They said, we have a special rate for Rotary. And it was cheaper than AAA. So there's a long list of vendors worldwide, services, products, you name it. And I don't want folks to miss out on the brand new Rotary Global Rewards. Third, all of you know about the disaster that occurred in both the Bahamas and South Carolina. If you still desire to contribute to those two worthy causes, you can still do that by going to our district website. We're preparing to provide some monetary support to both those district governors with whom I have been in touch. Finally, more good news yet. We have extended the registration deadline for the 14 April 2016 District Conference Cruise to 18 January. After that time, we will release all the rooms back to Royal Caribbean to go at the prevailing rates. But I just finished a tour this past Monday of Brilliance of the Seas, and I can assure you it is an absolutely gorgeous vessel, totally upgraded, all sorts of new touchscreen electronics to help you navigate around the ship, and I think you will be very impressed with what they're going to provide. $400 and change, all-inclusive, tax, tips, gratuities, entertainment, food, conference fee, cocktail party upon arrival, all one price. And that's going to be Tampa to Cozumel to Tampa. We'll do a short optional service project ashore in Cozumel. We're working on that now. I have some dynamic speakers lined up. We'll have some Rotary training, only half a day at sea. The rest of the time, just enjoy the ship and all its amenities. So don't delay. That 18 January deadline is now firm. Well, let me talk with you about some of the goals that we have for all the clubs in the district. First, and not just because I'm an old educator, I'm an educator and I'm old, so that qualifies, but we want to increase Rotarians' continuing education. So you might say, well, Governor Will, what is continuing education? Let me give you some examples. There are many Rotarians who have been in Rotary for 25, 30, maybe even 40 years. In fact, I talked to a Rotarian recently who'd been in Rotary for 42 years. And I said, wow, you must know almost everything there is to know about Rotary. And he said, well, I know a lot. I said, well, you must know about Rotary fellowships. And he said, no, don't know that. I said, well, you must know about Rotary friendship exchanges. No, never heard of it. Well, you must know about Rotary Community Corps. No, no such thing. Well, he neglected his continuing education. I wear a little pin here, this little pin with the flag on it, and it has a little Rotary symbol, and it says IYFR. That stands for the International Yachting Fellowship of Rotarians, one of many, many fellowships. And I don't own a yacht, but I now have many friends that do. So that's really pretty cool. So through Rotary Continuing Education, and we're looking at really 3 tiers. First tier at the club level, continuing education about Rotary in the club. And that can be something as simple as a Rotary video during a club assembly, or it can be a speaker on a Rotary topic, or some other Rotary-related training to keep you up to speed. Because in 110 years, Rotary has changed a lot. It's changed a lot just in the last 3 years. So to keep up with that and to be able to mentor new Rotarians and to assist in the good operation of the club, you need to know what's happening in Rotary. Second tier of that Rotary Continuing Education is at the district level. Every year, the district governor-elect in May has district annual training assembly. It used to be called district assembly, now it's called district training assembly. That's where every club president and their club leadership team gets trained up in everything that is the latest about how Rotary works, what's happening in the district, and how to run that club so that it will be a smooth year for everyone. District training. The third tier is RLI, Rotary Learning Institute. It's actually called Rotary Leadership Institute, but I like to call it Rotary Learning Institute because that's where you really learn about the organization. Imagine if you'd taken a new job and you didn't know a whole lot about it, and your boss told you to jump right in, and you said, well, what kind of training am I going to get? No, there is no training. That wouldn't be logical. And in most folks' jobs, they have had continuing education. There's been a requirement for continuing education. So outside of Rotary, it's expected. Many times we get into Rotary and we never think about continuing education again. So through the Rotary Leadership Institute, RLI, which is 3 levels of courses, that will finish out a Rotarian's continuing education and keep them up to date with what's going on. So that's goal 1, increase Rotarians' continuing education. Second goal is increase district support to clubs. Over the years, the district, which is a support entity, in fact, that's my job, is to support clubs. If you look in the Rotary Code of Policy, say, what's a governor's job? It's to support clubs. And I have almost 90 volunteers, Rotarians just like you, have the same jobs in your clubs, and they have real lives outside of Rotary, and they have volunteered additional hundreds of hours to support clubs as part of my district leadership team. My goal is to provide the very best support to club presidents like President Robin and the other 46 clubs in the district in every area. And we have been doing that even before my term began, with training for your assistant governors, followed by the district training assembly that I mentioned, foundation training, continuing education training, RLI, and many other venues, including a little bit of training in each governor's newsletter. So that is the second goal, is to increase district support to clubs. Third goal, improve Rotary's public image. It's interesting that over the 110 years that we've been around, for a large portion of that in the beginning, we didn't talk about the good work that we did in the world. We know we did good work. We didn't have to stand on the rooftop and shout about it because we knew as Rotarians we did good work in the world. So over the years, the public began to forget about us. So we'd be having a big fundraiser or some other major event, and we would go to, let's say, the head of a corporation. And we'd say, sir, you know, we're planning a big fundraiser, and we would like a corporate sponsor from you, a several $1,000 corporate sponsorship. And they would say, Rotary, let's see. No, I don't really know Rotary. And so we had neglected our public image. That's why Rotarians went to RI and said, what can you do to help us? And again, Rotary International in Evanston is a support entity. And they said, well, how about if we do a survey and find out what the public really thinks about Rotary? I'm going to share one thing that was kind of startling to me that came out of that survey. And it's a real answer to the question, what is Rotary? And more than one person gave this answer. They said, let's see, Rotary. Yes, I know. Rotary is a group of old men that get together to eat bad food. And we said, no, that can't be what we're about. But we realized that we had neglected our public image. So with RI's help and with a dedicated group of public image support people at the district level and area public image representatives, and with the assistance of Rotary International's website and all of the tools at their disposal, we have developed some grand tools for clubs to use to improve their public image in the community and worldwide. So let me encourage everybody to take advantage of that. Fourth goal, improve member attraction and retention. Most of you are aware that over the last decade, we started with 1.2 million Rotarians, and we brought in about 1.2 million Rotarians. And so we should have 2.4, right? Basic math. We still have 1.2. So where did over 1 million Rotarians go? They came in, they left. Well, it begs the question, why would anyone who was invited into this awesome, incredibly powerful international organization that, by the way, is recognized by the United Nations as a non-governmental organization, and we have a permanent advisory seat on the United Nations since we helped start the UN, why would somebody leave such an organization? As we did the analysis, we really discovered two things. One, many times we weren't bringing in the right potential Rotarian. Well, they were nice enough people, they're many times good friends, but they didn't have or weren't dedicated to one or more of the three things that we ask every Rotarian. We ask a Rotarian's time. You have to have the time. We ask for talent, and we ask for treasure. And we need to be very upfront with those three things that we ask of every potential Rotarian. Time, talent, treasure. Not a whole lot of treasure, not an overburdening amount, but yes, there is money involved, and that needs to be clear and upfront to each and every individual. Rotary's not for everybody, and that's okay. I have some very good friends, but many of them don't have all three of those things. Most of them have talent, because I really don't associate with a whole lot of people who don't have any talent at all, but we need to be bringing in the right people. So that the tools in the toolbox in that membership drive will help with that. Improve member attraction. So a member comes in, maybe we didn't bring in the right person, and what we have found that, at least in our district, about half of the people that we have data on left in less than a year. So that says generally one of two things. Either maybe they weren't really that potential Rotarian that we should have been seeking, or two, They were the perfect Rotarian. But for whatever reason, the club did not provide them the full Rotary experience that they expected and deserved. So we're working with clubs to ensure that both those things happen. They know what that Rotarian, potential Rotarian is that they're looking for, and second, they know how to keep them, how to train them, how to mentor them, how to integrate them, and how to retain that very important person so we can do our good work in the world. Next goal is to expand clubs' international service. Everyone wears a Rotary pin and it says Rotary International. So it stands to reason that if you're wearing the Rotary International pin, there would be some level of international service involved at the club level. And I'm happy to see the E-Club has been involved continually in various international projects. Well done, President Robin. And we're encouraging clubs to ensure that some part of your good work in the world is not just local, which is important, but is also international. And that can be as easy as partnering with another club on a global grant by providing some funding to them. It can be buying a Rotary shelter box that goes to help folks who have lost everything in an international disaster. It can be one of many, many opportunities to do good work internationally in the world. And keep in mind that the district has matching funds for global grants for international work. You don't necessarily have to be the lead club in that, but you can be a support club. Finally, Goal 6, increase support to the Rotary Foundation, TRF, the Rotary Foundation. The Rotary Foundation is the powerful financial engine that helps clubs and Rotary accomplish their good work in the world. So when we ask Rotarians to give that $100 a year to the foundation, and we have to be specific, you know, that's the Rotary International Foundation as opposed to a club foundation or a district endowment. When we ask for that level of support, we need to ensure that people know why and what it does. When folks go online to give to the foundation, they're given one of three choices. They can give to the annual fund, Polio Plus, or the Rotary Endowment. All three of those worthy causes, and we'd like to see folks give to each. But only one of those pots of money returns half of the donation back to the district to be redistributed to clubs for work in their local communities and globally, and that is the annual fund. So if you give $100 to the annual fund, after 3 years of an investment, half of that comes back to the district to again be redistributed to clubs on a competitive basis for their own good work. So really it's a win-win situation. Time for a story. Clubs up in Citrus County realized that they had a problem with many homeless people. And many homeless folks and others who are down on their luck can't afford to buy fresh fruits and vegetables. So the Rotarians got together and said, what can we do to provide fresh fruit for the homeless and needy people in our area for the next 20 years? They said, wow, what if we planted a grove of 150 fruit trees, citrus, pears, plums, all sorts of fresh fruit, good vitamin C, that would provide fruit for those folks who would be trained to take care of those trees in the grove. And it would provide support for the next 20 years. Wouldn't that be a great thing? And they all said, it's wonderful. But we don't have the money to plant a grove of 150 fruit trees. So they turned to a district grant. And using some of those matching funds returned from their contributions to the TRF annual fund, they applied for a district grant, received the money, and are now finishing up planting 150 fruit trees up in Citrus County that'll provide fresh fruit for folks for the next 20 years. That's Rotary at work. Let me give you another example. There is a ship. It's called the Hope of Africa. It is the largest private hospital ship in the world, and it sails up and down the coast of Africa, providing medical services and medical training to villages ashore that have never seen a physician. They don't know about disease vectors. They don't know about sanitation. All they know is that many of them are miserable because of disease and pestilence. So these folks from the Hope of Africa, medical teams, and by the way, the ship contains their families and all of the support people, and they stay on that ship for a year, cruising the coast of Africa and going ashore. They provide support and training, and they have 2 fully staffed operating rooms, one of which needed brand new equipment. It was aging and it wasn't in their budget. So Rotarians heard about this and they got together and they purchased a brand new suite of operating room equipment and technology for the Hope of Africa using a global grant. That again is some of that money from their contributions coming back and being used for good work in the world. Final example. January, I think it was 2010, my wife Gray and I were sitting down, and I was just winding up 3 years as chair of the District Disaster Preparedness and Response Committee. And I said, you know, Gray, I think I'm off the hook. We haven't had a hurricane. I'm a lucky governor, a lucky committee member, rather. And I think I'm home free. And the next day, a 7.2 magnitude earthquake hit Haiti. And thousands, tens of thousands of people were killed, and many, many more were crushed and injured. There was a young farmer and his teenage son. They were subsistence farmers. They grew sugarcane. They had gone into Port-au-Prince, spent the night. They were selling product, and the building they were in collapsed, crushed one leg of each of them, and it had to be amputated. As the sole breadwinners for their families, they couldn't survive and with only one leg as farmers. So Rotarians heard about this, and through the power of the Rotary Foundation's money, they were able to provide at no charge to them a Jaipur prosthetic limb that Rotary helped develop so that they could continue as sole breadwinners. That's the kind of thing that Rotarians do, and the power of the Rotary Foundation and the money that you contribute to that. So I just wanted to share those anecdotes with you. By the way, I have provided President Robin a copy of the goals for the district, and he can certainly share those with you electronically. I want to thank you for this short time together and encourage you to reach out to President Robin to continue the great work that you're doing in the E-Club. Spread the word of Rotary's good work in the world. Continue your education. And thank you so much, and have a wonderful Rotary Day and a wonderful holiday. Thank you again.
Thank you, Governor Will. A lot of food for thought in there, indeed. And all our members will, and our board will have an opportunity to discuss Will's comments at a meeting coming up on Saturday next. You will receive the link and the time of the meeting. So we look forward to seeing you all next Saturday. Thank you. Thanks again, Governor Will.
Thank you, Robin.